The Smash World Tour was a gigantic, year-long circuit to gather the best Smash players in the entire world together to determine Smash's first ever world champion.
Okay, just do it.
This will be it, right?
Yep. Can he get off this ledge?
Oh, do you have your double jump? Yes, you do.
Yes. Oh, he still gets it. Oh my gosh. Wow. Young the Buzz, the king of New York.
The original idea, back when the circuit was first announced in 2020, was to partner with a load of events, from the local level all the way up to super majors, and allow players to accumulate points via participation. Sadly, due to the COVID-19 pandemic, this idea had to be altered. Instead, for Smash Ultimate, each region around the world took part in an online qualifier, where thousands faced off but only a few survived. Those who made it through were then able to participate in an offline regional finale to further thin their representatives and select who would be sent to the championship. Melee skipped the online qualifier portion and instead selected their regional finalists via a panel-based voting system. There was one final touch that I neglected to mention up until now. This whole circuit sounds kind of brutal, right? If a player has one off day, they'll lose their shot at the world title. That's why the organizers decided to give those people one last shot. If a player missed out on qualifying for the championship for one reason or another, they'd be able to enter the last chance qualifier, where they'd battle against hundreds of other players in a double elimination bracket for 8 final spots in the Smash World Tour Championship. The schedule was pretty simple. 32 players qualified from around the world were seeded into 8 pools of 4. Where each pool would play through a round robin to determine who makes it through to the final bracket. 8 players from this bracket were each added into one of the round robin pools before Saturday to play out their matches. Of the 40 players in the championship, only 24 were left by the end of the group phase, and that was further whittled down to 12 by the end of Saturday. This set everything up for Sunday, where those 12 players faced off in the final bracket of the Smash World Tour. Hungrybox qualified for the championship via the NA East Regional Finale. He placed 4th, losing to Polish and IBDW, qualifying him for the championship. DeBuzz, on the other hand, had a bit more work to do to qualify for the championship. First, he attempted to play through the Northeast American Online Qualifier, but fell just slightly short, being knocked into the redemption bracket by both Leon and Tweak. He didn't let that stop him though, and managed to win the lower bracket and qualify for the NA East Regional Finale. At this regional finale, he placed 3rd, qualifying for the championship and also getting a little bit of revenge on Tweak. Sunday began with Hungrybox waiting for his match versus Wizrobe in winner's semi-finals of the bracket. Players can start off the set in a couple different ways. They might just gentleman, which means both players mutually agree to start on a specific stage. They might just let the higher seed ban first, or they could play rock, paper, scissors, allowing the winner to ban first.
1, 2, 3, shoot. I'm gonna go rock. Alright. 1, 2, 3.
You know what? I remember that.
He literally told me how to win.
I remember that.
Fucking crazy. The pain in my, the Wizzy's Falcon has been like a pain in my side this whole year, and just like I know I can like do it. I got so close each time.
Yeah. See, the little adjustments help.
Yeah. Adjustments, yeah.
Hungrybox versus Wizrobe is always an interesting matchup, and that's because Wizzy is unlike any other Captain Falcon player Melee has ever seen. All eyes were turned to the stage for the rematch of Main Stage's Grand Finals, and the set began. The beginning was promising, with Hungrybox keeping pace with Wizzy, trading blow for blow to stay mostly even. However, at the 1 minute and 20 second mark, Wizzy takes the first stock with a down throw knee. Hungrybox quickly recoups with a ledge hog, but Wizzy already smells blood in the water. At this point, Wizzy's found his stride and plays the rest of the set in much the same manner, rushing down and smothering Hungrybox, not giving him time to think, let alone act. And by the time the dust is settled, Wizrobe's merciless onslaught comes to a close with a 3-0 victory and Hungrybox down in losers, awaiting his next opponent. Hungrybox went into losers' quarters versus Polish looking for revenge, having lost to him in a close Game 5 set back at the Eastern Regional Finale. In the past, HBox was known as the Slayer of Peaches, being the owner of a flawless 7-0 set record versus Armada's Peach, forcing the legendary player to pull out obscure counterpicks in order to deal with HBox's Puff. Now, though, the rise of a new generation has seen Hungrybox struggling with this new style of Peach player, a style that Polish embodies perfectly. Game 1 started off much like anyone would expect from a match with two floaties in melee, each player trying to bait out an approach so that they could capitalize on it. However, a completely different pattern began to emerge. Polish had figured something out to use against Hungrybox, and that something was the top platform. From the get-go, it was apparent that Polish was using this top platform to escape and do quite a bit of damage. Despite both being floaty characters, once Peach has herself grounded on the top platform, the only way that Puff can approach is through the air, where she's slow. During that approach, Puff is wide open to any number of devastating punishes that Peach can throw at her, and Polish knew this very well. Over the course of the 3 games, it wasn't an uncommon sight to see Polish heading up to the top platform and Hungrybox reluctantly chasing after, and as a result, despite many good plays by HBox, this extra factor gave Polish the edge he needed to win the set 3-0 and knock Hungrybox out of the tournament at 5th place. Much like HBox, DeBuzz also placed first in his pool to start the final bracket in winners. However, in quarterfinals, he lost to MK Leo, setting the stage for him to begin the Sunday bracket in losers, facing off against Mutace. Ever since an insane losers run to place 9th out of over 800 players at main stage, and a prompt follow-up of 3rd out of 700 at CEO, many eyes were on Mute as the new potential best Peach player in the world. It was a close back and forth for both players throughout the entire set, with a solid win during Game 1, an unfortunate suicide up B from DeBuzz to lose Game 2, and more solid victories in Game 3 and 4. Despite the accidental game loss in Game 2, his calm and calculated gameplay led DeBuzz to an overall 3-1 victory and a spot in top 8, where he would face off against Proto Banham next. There was a lot of talk overall about how Proto Banham and the rest of the Japanese players would perform going into SWT. A few of them made their way over to the USA for tournaments like Ultimate Summit 3 and Main Stage, but at this point we hadn't yet seen Japan's fastest rising prospect, Proto Banham. DeBuzz himself did previously play Min Min for quite some time before dropping her after the nerfs, so it would be extremely interesting to see the matchup between a player who still believed in the character and one who left her behind for greener pastures. Game 1 started out with a bang, DeBuzz quickly breaking Proto Banham's zoning, landing on him at a 45-degree angle with a nair to push him off stage, and then quickly following it up with a fair to secure the first stock in less than 20 seconds. Eventually, Proto caught DeBuzz on a neutral getup, but DeBuzz fired back with a long ledge trap, not giving Proto the chance to regain his footing, and eventually getting a stock in the process. A little bit longer, and then up smash from DeBuzz with a little help from Luma closes out Game 1. Game 2 is where things get interesting, because this is where Proto pulls out his Lucina, who he usually uses in a counterpick situation based on either character matchup or stage pick. Game 2 goes much better for Proto as he's able to use Lucina's stronger disjoints to smother DeBuzz, and it ends with Proto winning it out in a 2-stock victory. Game 3 is on the horizon and DeBuzz is now on the back foot, so he counterpicks to one of Rose's strongest stages, Battlefield. Game 3 progresses, but slowly. Both players are at each other's throats and neither secures a meaningful lead, with both of them being evenly matched for the duration. Proto begins to pull ahead toward the end of his second stock, and this lead proves to be insurmountable for DeBuzz, as he can't quite cinch the comeback. On to game number 4, with DeBuzz running it right back to Battlefield, and DeBuzz is moving all over the stage with Proto barely being able to land a hit. DeBuzz takes the first stock with only 31% to his name, and it's looking amazing already. Proto does manage to quickly get himself back in the game and bring us to a close set, yet again thanks to some fancy footwork and a fast fall back air to boot. And so, they resume the same song and dance from game number 3. It's looking grim for Dabuz, and things might progress exactly like the past few games against Proto's Lucina. He makes it to last hit, but he's lost these before. Dabuz whiffs an up smash and it looks like it's all over with Proto setting up for a Dancing Blade to knock him out, but it doesn't hit. Dabuz lands a roll behind up smash to barely secure himself a game 5. One more time they run it back to Battlefield, and once more it starts out neck and neck. That is, until the second stock rolls around and Dabuz begins to pull ahead. Eventually, Proto is at triple-digit percents on his tournament stock while Dabuz is sitting pretty with another in the bank. This makes all the difference as Dabuz sets up for a 2-frame down air and knocks out Japan's finest at 7th place. Dabuz is one of the most consistent players in Smash Ultimate. It was time to find out who was going to be moving on, and who would be knocked down at 5th place. Game 1 begins on Pokemon Stadium 2, but it's already a struggle for Dabuz to deal with the high-speed, combo-based nature that Mythra represents, never quite managing to find comfortable footing before Cosmos gets right in his face, eventually securing a 2-stock win while being over 190%. Game 2 begins on Dabuz's counterpick of FD, attempting to remove the platforms from the equation to make Cosmos' movement more limited and thus more predictable. And it seems to be working at the start, with Dabuz trapping Cosmos off stage and taking the first stock with a dare. Cosmos, though, quickly regains his composure and once again begins smothering Dabuz with Mythra's high speed and Pyra's heavy hits, not letting him catch his breath. Dabuz almost brings it back, but with a back air from Cosmos that stops him dead in his tracks and takes us to game number 3. This time, Dabuz tries something new and counterpicks to Lilat, a very controversial and rarely seen stage in competitive Smash Ultimate, but an unorthodox strategy might be exactly what he needs to get himself back into the set. Dabuz begins well, keeping his space and poking from a distance with Luma, but as soon as Cosmos manages to break his zone, there's not much he can do to regain his footing, and finding early KOs on the little star to remove one of Dabuz's biggest tools, and, as a result, Cosmos closes out the set 3-0, knocking Dabuz out at a very respectable 5th place. At the end of the tournament, Hungrybox placed 5th. He was seeded, which means his expected placing, to get 4th. However, he had a surprising loss to Polish, who went on a fairy tale run to get 3rd overall. Dabuz also placed 5th in the championship. He was seeded number 8, so his 5th place finish was extremely impressive. Considering that in the final bracket he only lost to MK Leo and Cosmos, with Leo being the undisputed number 1 and Cosmos being considered a top player himself, Dabuz definitely turned some heads with this showing. Team Liquid is extremely proud to have players like Dabuz and Hungrybox representing them, showing themselves to be top-class competitors on the biggest stage Smash has seen so far. The recent pickup of one of Japan's finest, Atelier, is also incredibly promising, and as a result, Liquid shows no signs of stopping anytime soon. Hi everyone, my name is Last, and I work for Team Liquid as an events organizer and data analyst. I actually attended the Smash World Tour myself in person, and I was the one who handled the seeding and operation of the brackets for Smash Ultimate. Within the Smash community in general, you may know me as a tournament organizer, a commentator, or a coach, but if you'd like to give me a follow on Twitter, you can do so at L4ST_V1. Thanks for watching.